Chine warul mana jomi chilendem nyengal filbi tenem bali di yengu ndax Gambia gi na chilendem ko je ko tibu ko di yerem de ko fili fala ba endo di gelem sa te kala ko wara jaral bu buga ku sante wala kula gerem ha nako ci si donten anano ngente ñew fat sun jangoro be je duñu tay duñu daw bu dara seddu ma de gol bi yoon nañu dem acelen jël jëlu ñu mom go Africa Cup wala World Cup sax
Serious Scorpion inen ndam lebi yoon jiitu leen jéngu leen jiital fayda Scorpion mooy tax ñu am foon jayante jéngu leen jiital fayda Scorpion mooy tànga suñu noon ñu tàngat ci pàccal bi dégga welton noppam bu bon bi ñu joxe ko xam ne ne ngeen di fi di foog mu ñëw suñu yoon stade bi fees na support bi tayet flag yi ees te bu ñu fi fight
Gentlemen, welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia. Now, after a crucial 3-2 victory against South Sudan, the Gambia national team, the Scorpions of the Gambia, will be aiming to consolidate their second position, a position which will actually see us qualify for the upcoming Ivory Coast 2023 or 2024 Afcon. The Gambia needs a minimum of a point to secure qualification. However, a defeat would prove catastrophic, because then that would mean the Gambia would be out. And that would be probably due to head-to-head. Welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia football podcast. We are delighted to have, as usual, the usual suspect, Mr. Habibi Fall, who is a friend of this channel, well knowledgeable in Gambian football, a keen Gambian football follower. Mr. Habibi, welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, guys. It's
Walaikum
always
assalam.
nice to be around. You know, talking about Gambian football, which is something that we are. It's deeply rooted. It's deeply rooted in our system. So it's always a pleasure to come here and share our ideas or opinions about the way forward of our football. So we hope to have a wonderful show.
Thank you. We've also got EB Jallo, who
Mhm.
who didn't need introducing at this
Yeah.
moment in time. He's been the Gambia under 17 and under 20 national team coach. He's managed across the top three divisions in the Gambia. He's vastly
Absolutely.
knowledgeable in Gambia football, a UEFA A license holder himself. Coach, welcome to the show today, as usual.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome, Baba. Baba Demba, as usual, is part of us as well. It's part of this channel. Always late. We have to put that into. He's never been on time. He's a family. He's part of this Citizens Network Gambia. He's former international himself. Baba, welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Habib, you okay?
You
Evie,
you don't have you don't have to be late. You are from
No, next
Exactly.
time.
you are
I
from
won't be late anymore.
Yeah,
Angalel.
Yeah, I'm saying hello to
Angalel
everyone.
Kualit.
exactly.
No, the Malaysia.
TK boy.
It's not gonna
Then
happen
go,
again, mate.
then go there, Lorek boy.
No, that's it. It's not gonna happen anymore.
That's the other side of him. The
Yeah,
bounce
Yeah.
side.
Welcome, Ensa BI as well. He himself also has played some football at the top level, notably in Lajor and Hawks as well. Ensa, welcome to the Citizens Network Gambia.
Thank you. Good
Yeah,
evening,
so
everybody.
good evening.
Welcome, Isa.
Thank you.
Let me sit properly. Okay, so we just gonna go into details. Right? It's just
Yeah.
probably gonna be a very interesting topic today. And we just gonna have a preview of the upcoming game, which is really crucial. Like I said in my introduction, we need a point to qualify to the second time in our Afcon in Ivory Coast. I'm gonna start with Baba in this. How does the coach approach this game? Are we going all out to win a football match, or are we just gonna say, okay, sit back, consume the pressure, and then get the draw we need?
Yeah, once again, Mbalbe Kontola, I'm saying hello to everyone or Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it is an important game. I mean, every game is an important game when it comes to the national team. For us, every game is an important game. But this one is the most important game because at the end of the day, if we win, I think we're gonna go. That's all we need. I think even draw will be okay with us. But the thing is, yes, the coach, everybody was saying he's giving us the result, he's winning games, and he's getting us the qualifiers, and we're going to AFCON again, maybe for the second time and everything. But playing with Paul Put is a different ball game because he knows the nation, he knows us, he knows how we play and everything. But it doesn't mean that he's gonna win us. It's all depends on the coach, how he's gonna play, what kind of players he's gonna call. Because this coach, he's always like that. He will surprise you. He will come up with a selection that will be like, and all of us will be like, Coach be Yapsa, Coach be ni, Coach be na. That's him. But like everyone says, I'm not a fan of the coach. Why he's having results, he's bringing the results. We are winning, we are going, which is all right. It's okay. I really have no problem with that. My problem is the way we are playing, but he's not going to change that. And when we are having Paul put, he is not going to wait for Gambia to be sitting at the back or doing all these things. He's going to go totally all out to win this game, because yes, it's important for us to win the game, but for him as well, it's very important. So I think it's very important the coach to know Nene, Paul is not going to come lightly on him. Paul is going to come all out to make sure Nene, he wins this game, because Paul is doing a lot of homeworks when you check all his interviews. Whenever they interview him, he always come out with like, oh, I'm not Gambia, Gambia this, Gambia that, Gambia that. So which means he's doing a lot of homework to see how to dominate that game or win that game. So our coach, Tom, got a lot to do. I mean, it's football. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter how many games you win. It doesn't matter how many cups you win. It will come to a time, but if you start losing games, you're gone. We sack you, you're gone. That's it. So, and I don't think we're gonna go through to that level with him as for now. The important thing is for him to get us to the Afcon for the second time again. If he can do that, then it's fine. I have no problem with that. My only problem is I don't like the way he plays, and I don't even like his personality and everything, because as a coach, you should, number one, I don't blame him as well in the other part, because a coach that doesn't have a press conference, a coach that doesn't go to Gambia, a coach that doesn't even talk to the media in Gambia, there is a lot that comes with this coach. It's not about only the way he plays, but there is a lot that is like, for me personally, it's disrespectful for us to have a coach that doesn't even go to Gambia, a coach that doesn't even have any media or a media conference or anything. He doesn't even talk to us. He doesn't even talk to the nation. As a proper coach, whenever, even if there is a player that is your top player, you drop him off from the selection, people got right to criticize, or people got right to say, oh, why coach this, why coach that? Come out, tell us, all right, I wouldn't pick this guy because this, because this, because that. A genuine one. Because I saw some, how to call it again, some Instagram, exchange, messages from a fan and him. He was saying Chuka wasn't playing almost a year or whatever. So that's why he didn't call Chuka, but Timber wasn't playing. Timber wasn't playing and he called. So all
Baba,
these things.
sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm just gonna interject on that. We will get to the selection side of it, because, like we said, there is always controversy surrounding his system. But what I'm trying to say is, with regards to this game itself, knowing the manager himself, are we just? What would you do if you were in his position? Would you just go all out to just win the game, or would you just go and then play the? Yeah,
like I said, we haven't got any home game, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we have to play the same way we playing in Morocco, and then when we if we go to Congo, for me, we have to play the same as well, because the thing is, we have quality players, we have good players, but the coach is not going to do that anyway. I know he's going to defend all the games and trying to get 1 point, which is understandable, because how to call it again, that's all he need. I mean, if he put 6-7 defenders at the back, it's fine, because he need a point only. I draw a need, so that you will understand. I mean, it's not, for me, I don't think he needs to even go out like fully to attack, because at the end of the day, he just need a point. Habib will help me with that. I think he only need a point. So if you need a point, EB is here. I don't think you need to just rush and try to attack. I think the first option means to defend, especially if you need a point. That's my opinion anyway.
Okay. Thank you. I'll go to Habibi now. I'll come back to coach, but because he's been there and done it, I just want to have his opinion as the last one and see where he will take us with this. But Habibi, what do you expect the coach to do in these circumstances? Obviously, having followed him for so long, Do you expect him to go all out and win the game? And what would you have done yourself?
Yeah, the expectation might be as many might be the same, because he's a guy that has been playing a certain way for the longest time, and he has been getting results with those kind of approach. So the expectations are he might be a little bit defensive like always and try to hit them on the counter. That's what I expect, that he will still maintain his style of play. But I think this game we have to be a little bit careful. My only worry is that might be a little bit risky in one aspect, because if we happen to be on the back foot, for example, in the first half, we went there with numbers behind the ball, trying to be more disciplined, and if they scored before us, then that's a different ball game. So anyway, it's football. It's all about risk. But my expectations are for him to be a little bit more attacking, not to be like more open. But we need numbers. But we need players that can do the job in terms of attacking and defending at the same time. So it's a game that you don't have to be so defensive. But if you do that, the consequences might be they might score a goal before you. And the moment they are on the front foot, it means our game plan will be at risk, meaning we might also have to attack a little bit more to equalize. And for that being the case, you might be vulnerable in defense, and then anything can happen. But knowing Tom and what we learned through his time with us, he is a guy who don't take a lot of risk. He normally attack when we are on the losing side. That's what I've seen the Gambia play for the longest time. I think the only time I see or saw the Gambia play fantastic football from the first whistle was against Guinea-Conakry in the Afcon, where we were the better team from the first whistle to the last whistle. But apart from that, most of the games, we hang it in the game and try to play a very fast counter-attack. So it all depends on also which players is he going to invite for the national team, especially the wide players playing at the wing. These are matches whereby you need two-way players. If I say two-way players, it means players that only not defending or attacking. You need players that can attack when we are with the ball and can defend as well when we lose possession. So it means we need players who are committed, 100% committed, not only flank players that likes to play open in the flank, and defensively they might be poor. So it's a very difficult game to play. The mental part of it is also there. Players should be mentally ready. These are the kind of games whereby psychologically you have to be up there, because if you look at Paul Putt's mind's game has been flowing for the longest time. He's been outspoken. Even well before he lost to Mali, he was saying the final of this group will be against the Gambia. He has been saying this. So the mental part of our game also means we have to be mentally ready in terms of trying to consume a lot of pressure. So it's a very, very difficult game to be. Even the best coaches in the world might be in some kind of problem to be in this kind of situation. Was playing for a draw. From the outside, you might say, "Yeah, it's doable." We have two options: we either win or draw. Yes, but how to approach this game might be something very, 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 very difficult. Knowing the type of coach we have, I think it's going to be a tough game. But in all honesty, if the coach invite the right players, I think we are better than Congo in terms of individually. We can count top players playing for the national team who are playing in decent leagues in the around Europe. But that's one thing. Two thing is try to make them play a certain way that can suit you, and then you can get a results at the end of the day. But I'm really little bit under pressure, but I have this feeling that we are at least 49-51. At least no matter what, and no matter what, I think the Gambia has all what it takes to beat Congo. We have the quality from the defense to the midfield to the attack. My only worry is how the coach gonna approach this game. I know, like I said, we have what it takes to win, but if you going into this game, if you are so defensive, the risk is you might go there being defensive and then they nip a goal before you. And the moment Congo scored a goal before us, God forbid, that might change the whole complexion of the game, because instead of now trying to defend, we have to equalize. And it means you have to put more men up front. And with that, it's 50-50. Anything can happen. But if you ask me, my confidence, since we defeated Mali, I got this feeling that Gambia will make it to the Afcon back-to-back. So I think it's all about Tom doing the right thing, and that is inviting players who are the best. It's a one-off game. No second chance. It's just a one-off game. Invite the right players mentally, let them be ready. And I think no matter how smart or intelligent Paul Put might be, I think the quality in our team should be the difference. And we have to use that to our advantage and make sure, no matter how difficult the game might be, that draw, it's doable. Very doable. But we have to be very careful.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Ensak, I come back to you. What do you think should the coach do? Should we just go all out and attack and just play our normal football game and win the football match, or do we just go for a draw?
That's me. If I was the coach, me
Thank God you are not.
personally, I know me personally, I wouldn't go for a. Well, everyone is saying defend or but I think I'll go out and play normal. As usual, normal the way we play. But we have to have a game plan, because we only need a point. But if we have to say that we are going to sit back and let them play, that's I would say that's not safe, because once they are lucky to have a goal, then that's it. Like Habibi said, we have to come all out and play. So if you do come out all out and play, anything can happen. They can score another goal. So that means we are out of it. But we have to make sure, the coach have to make sure he got a proper game plan for that game. Like as Baba also said, we just need a point. Go out and play, but we have to have a game plan. We have to have a game plan. Make sure the midfield and the defense have a good link up. Then the rest, I think, anything can happen. But I think we go out and play, not wait for them to come on us. That might be disaster anyway if a goal happened there. So I think we go out and play. That's my opinion, because we got the players, we believe in the team, so why not? That's what I think anyway. But maybe the Baba and Ibi and Habib, they know the team better than me. But that's my thoughts anyway. Go out and play.
Thank you. So, Coach, I come to you. I want you to take me through your thought processes, because you've been in a dressing room. I don't know whether you've encountered a situation like this where you and your team just need a point to either qualify or to get to in a group stages, or to go past another stage in a competition. Now, you in your team, just imagine you in your dressing room. What are you telling your players? You just need a point, and everyone in that dressing room know that we need a point to win this, to qualify. What is the thought process? What are you doing about it? Are you gonna? Let's just put it this way. What is your team talk going to be based on? Are you just gonna be a normal game, just play our normal game and win a football match, or are you just gonna highlight the importance of getting that 1 point?
Wow. Okay. The first thing I usually do, and I think this coach will be doing the same, because if you go through professional coaching training, the first thing you put in consideration is the state of mind of your players, the opponent that you are about to meet, what kind of quality they have, and what likely formations, because you don't base it on one. They might have variable formation where 2 to 3 different systems they can use in a game that would end up producing or letting them down. So you have to put those things into consideration. The other thing, again, the weather, the atmosphere, the ground, all those things have to come into play. But let's say this game is a one-off game. The first thing I would do is exactly what Paul Put is doing. That is the mental health side, to look at the mental health of my players, how ready they are, because there are some of them who can talk in public. I'm saying this, I'm not saying it to attach it to the players of the Gambian national team. I'm saying it basically generally. Some players, they don't want to show weakness, but they have this mental weakness in them. When tough games are coming, they like to hide that side of them. But then, because they've seen everyone trying to show toughness, they would also go with that flow. And come the game, then you start seeing those cracks, and those cracks will be our weakness. So basically, I think the coach might not. I think the coach might not please every Gambian, or, like, shall I say, not please the majority of the Gambians, because he is going to pick a team that will suit him, because the responsibility falls on him. He might end up disappointing many people, whereby he will not pick the players that the Gambian public wants to see playing, because behind his head, if I was in his position, I would do the same, because all he needs is qualification. Because as a coach, it doesn't matter how beautiful football you play with your team. If you're not having the results, it makes no sense at the end of the day, especially this one-off game. So for me, if I was to prepare the team, I mean, because they don't need coaching anymore. Most of our players are playing top-level professional football already. All they need is motivation and psychology. That's all they need, because you need to get into their heads mentally to prepare them. And personally, I would say that is every single good coach in this world, their strength is that. If you can get into the head of your players, make them play for you. If they play for you and you have the interest of the country, then they are playing for the country. Then you would have the results that you desire. Even if you don't have the results, anybody who will watch it will know that everyone have given it all. And I think the two things that he's going to go for basically is the psychology inside the head of the players. And I don't know him personally. I've never met him personally. Like I've known Paul Put, I've worked with him, and stuff like that. But I've never met Tom. Maybe Baba and Habibi have met him or have had a chance of talking to him. But I am sure, from what I've watched, all the games that he's been coaching the Gambia, and from what I watch from some of his interviews, the takes I have, he plays with psychology, especially with the Gambian people. And this annoys the Gambian people most of the time, because his response are not the most nicest response. He is not really convincing to the Gambian public, because that is not his fault. That is fault of the federation, because he sees how the federations treat the Gambian population, the Gambian public, the Gambian football fraternity, the Gambian football fans. So why not him? He would do the same. If he comes and see the football federation takes the football fans seriously, then Tom would have took every single football fan seriously. But unfortunately, this is not the situation. And when I watch some of his interviews, the way he responds, And I'm thinking, if he was not, I'm not talking about coaching in Europe, but coaching in Africa alone, in certain countries, he would have lost his job. Whether he'll be sacked or he will resign, because the pressure he would have from officials and from football fans. But fortunately enough for him, he can talk anyhow he like. He can brag anyhow he like, because I've seen the other day that Baba, the exchanges he had with that fan, apparently what he was saying, where was all these other coaches? Why didn't Gambia qualify to the Cup of Nations? I was disappointed to see something like that. It's not a nice thing to see a professional coach saying things like that, like he's bragging he saved the Gambia or he have took the Gambia. The qualification of Gambia, it wasn't made by one person. This is a team that have been in the making for a long time. These were players who were playing on different various levels, either to the junior national teams or to club level in the Gambia before they even move overseas. So there is so many factors that comes to play when why the club, the national team, sorry, qualified to that Afcon. But during the course of the Afcon, we have seen the cracks in the team, especially when we was playing against the host country, Cameroon, and stuff like that. But I think this game is not going to be what we think. Like Habibi said there, I mean, the coach is a conservative coach. He would not risk it at all. He would not. But if I was,
is he right in not risking it? That's the question.
100%, 100%. I would not risk it, because if the statistics says that a point is enough to qualify, I'm not going to play for the point, but I would not be in a rush to go all out and tell my players go all out. What I would not do is I would not let the opposing team play in my half. What I would let them do is to play the long balls from their defense rather than from their midfield. Then that would suit the Gambian team, because we got a lot of agile players who have springs on their calves. They're very good in anticipating balls on the air. We have that. The danger is if we sit back and allow them to play in our own half, the nervousness will come, the pressure will come, and that's where mistakes happen. And when those mistakes happens, it could be costly, either a deadly free kick or a penalty. You know, that's the problem. But I would not support the idea of going all out there, because it's a risk. It's a risk. He need to qualify. That's his CV for him. Remember, he got a very poor CV before coming to the Gambia. So the CV he have at the moment, he built it in the Gambia, and then qualifying again will give his CV a better resume still. So I don't think he have to risk it. But what he don't have to do is to sit back in our own half and wait for them to come there. If I was, I would close it down from the center, top there. That's where I'm going to close it. Let them keep the ball on their half. If they're frustrated, let them send it up. If they send it up, it's anybody's ball. And I am confident we'll win those balls because we have more agile players. Yeah.
Yeah, Baba. So I come back to you with regards to selection. Obviously, selection issues. Yeah, go on.
Before you go, I want to ask Coach a question. Well, he did mention two things. Coach is saying he don't want them to play in our court. So if you don't want them to play in our court, Coach, my understanding means are we gonna peg them up front or what?
No, I will not play the pressing football.
So what now?
That's what I mean. We have to play a high one up by the center line. When we lose the ball up, we have to allow our forward players to retreat to the center rather than pressing them high up.
Okay, now how about if they are playing if Congo want to approach the game by playing from behind?
Yes.
Like they want to build up play from behind. What should be our reaction? Should we press them up high on the pitch, or if the moment they entered our zone, then that's the time we send numbers to try and win the ball, or what?
Yes, we have three lines of defense where we don't want gaps to happen between the midfield and the strikers and between the defenders and the midfield. To avoid these gaps is to close it, narrow it down, because we have to understand our players are playing high-level football at the moment where the league have just started and they just came from a preseason. They are fit,
Yep.
but at the same time, the Congolese is the same. But the problem we have there is if we want to go toe-to-toe, because the Congolese need the game more urgently than us. We don't need the game urgently. We are not desperately there to win the game. It will be nice to win it. So we have to let them put the urgency and we play the slow game where we can cut them, because if they are frustrated, all we need is frustrating them, closing it from the center, top center line. And that's very easy. It's not a difficult thing to do.
Did you have the chance to watch? Did you watch the first leg against Congo?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Then we're good.
I did.
Yeah,
The Congo team, the power they have is they like using their midfield, central midfield players. They're the engine of everything they do because they have quick players up front. That's why I mean, if we allow that gap between our midfield and our forward line, then they will kill us. So what we want them to do is to narrow that gap, is to retreat our forward line to the center, right there. So not allow them to come. Let them play the ball behind their half. Then what will happen is they will start using long balls because there's no penetrating pass. Then there is no gap between our midfield and our strikers. There's no gap between our defenders and our strikers. Any loose ball that come, the gap is very, very narrow. Somebody will be there easily to pick it or win the ball, destroy or whatever. Frustrate them, because once they are frustrated in the first 15 minutes, we can find the cracks because we have quick players as well. So those
that was one of the reasons that I did mention. We need two-way players.
Yes,
players who will still play off the ball. These are matches that players don't have to walk on the pitch like that.
No,
we need two-way players. So Cham, go ahead.
So I know we don't want to go on to too much on the technical side of it. So, but I just want to go back to Baba, and then obviously you started talking about the selection, and when it comes to the selection, there is always controversy regarding this manager. Sorry, I think Ensa is just frozen again on the screen. So we need to, so it's always a selection issue. Obviously, football fans will always have their favorite players. They would have players they want in the team, and there is also argument about players who are not playing actively or who are not playing regularly in their teams, having the chance more than the ones who are actively playing week in, week out. But he's always come out and defended himself with this. Are you expecting the same sort of group of players now that we are hearing one or two names that are already been called up through their clubs? Do you expect any changes this time round, or do you think he is not going to take any risk? He's just going to maintain the core group of players that he trusted?
For me personally, like EB said, every game has his own players to call. I mean, we don't expect to go for a draw or something like that, and then have got a team we put all strikers or attacking players or whatsoever. So it depends on what kind of football he's gonna play. Anyway, Mombena Football Club, he only got one football, that's Park the Boss. So, but for me personally, when it comes to the selection, man, I don't have any problem. I don't have any issues when it comes to selection. The only issue I have with national team selection is you picking players that are not playing, players that are not having time, or players that are sitting on the bench, and then you're calling those players. This is my problem when it comes to national team selection. Why national team selection, normally, like EB said, as a coach, you can have the selection according to the type of game you're about to play, and then you can pick your squad according to that. Maybe you might need 3 or 4 defenders or 5 defenders or 6. We will understand that, because we will know in a Hejna, you're going away, so you need more defenders, or you're playing home, so you need more strikers. So you call the national team according to the games you're about to have. But when it comes to this coach, all the time, he always select players that are not even playing. This is our problem. That's why all the time we will have argument, we will be fighting on media, we'll be saying things, and that's wrong. And he wouldn't even come out to explain why. What's the reason why I call this player? Why? Probably if he comes out and explain, it might be genuine reason for him to be calling these A, B players. But obviously, there is no reason when you're calling players that are on the bench, players that are not playing week in, week out. And we even got players that are playing week in, week out, scoring goals. And you're not bringing them to the national team selection. So this is our problem. So all the time, the coach always have this problem with us when it comes to national team selection. He will bring players that have not been playing for years. Okay, like the names of Timber now, he got a contract. No, 3 days or 4 days ago. Yeah, he's not been playing. He got no team for almost 1 year or 1.5 years. And watch, he's gonna call him because he's calling players according to their national team games. Who does that? How can you call players according to their national team games? You call players according to their to their club level. How are they performing in club level, not in national team level? Not in national team level. Because you might have a player that is playing national team scoring goals, yes. And then before the other national team games, he might be drop out. Maybe he lose form. There are another striker at that moment that are on top form. You call those players to come and play. That's how you select a team. At the moment, in the time boy in your place, you look for players that are playing, that are scoring goals, that are playing week in, week out. Call those players to come. You don't call national team players because of Dew is in the national team for the past 3-4 years or the past 5-6 years, so I have to call him to come and play again. No. This is my problem with this coach. Anyway, if you even call him players that are playing or that are coming maybe second half, and we will understand. But players that are totally not playing, not even without clubs. He will call players not even without clubs. So I hope that this time around, I'm not sure whether the Habib Howman that live in beginning, but I heard that he called Hamza. Hamza got his invitation. I saw that, and Hamza and Jawara already got their invitation. And who again?
Seydou Khan as well, the one little boy in Swindon.
He already called few, yeah. But like I said, call players that are playing, period. Call players that are playing, that are having, game time in their clubs. Man, that's what I think. But if you bring in players that are not playing, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not playing, period, you're not playing, you're not going to be called in the national team. It doesn't matter who you are. Even if you're the captain, you're not playing, you're not having club, period. You're not being called, man. We got a lot of players in Gambia. There are even youngsters. This lad, this Modufal lad that was in, is it West Brom?
West Brom.
Yeah, try this lad. He's a striker. Try him. Bring him. But you only have one team selection. This coach never changed or never try to bring in some youth and blind it, and he always go with these players that are sitting in Gambia for 10-11 months, and you bringing them to go and play for us. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, even though if you bring them and they perform in the national team, fine, they perform, but they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be there at the first place. It's not fair for the players that are playing, because that's why we always have players. At the end of the day, you want to call them to come and play, and then that time they will be on a top form. Then they refuse because your time bowling want to call to come and represent Gambia. You didn't call them that time. You wait until now. You have no choice, and then you want to call them to come and play for Gambia. They will say no. Simple. Thank you.
Lamin, so I come to you. Obviously, the coach would argue that, listen, this is the core of players that I've trusted from the onset, and they're winning football matches for me. Why do I have to change them? Do you genuinely think that he needs to change and bring in the right players, or do we just have to allow him and give him the benefit of the doubt to pick and choose the player he wants?
Good evening, first of all. Good evening, everyone. For me, like to be fair, I think the manager, he feel like he's selecting the right players to win games for him. And when you look at it, I'm looking at the stats. between the Gambia and the opponent and our opponent Congo. You know, he's 4 or 5 times better off their stats in their 5 previous meetings each. When you look at Gambia's previous home games, we win more games than even draw. You know, and then compare to Congo. Congo only have 1 win from their 5 their 5 meetings. So I would say like it's not doing the bad. It's not doing a bad thing, to be fair. But what everyone's talking about, players that is bringing them to the selection, and you got players that are there. They're playing week in, week out, and he's not selecting them. He does have his reasons, you know, because I think a couple of days ago I was listening to one of his clips. He was saying like some of the players are in the clubs. Players like Chuka. Chuka's been to 2 clubs, and he wasn't having game time. You know, so and when you look at that, you're telling me Chuka's been to 2-3 clubs, and he hasn't been having a game time. But you bring in Buba to the national team and starting in every game. Fair enough. When you look at it, what the point that he made, he said he did invite Chuka to play, but Chuka doesn't impress him. That's what he says. Yeah, which I will give it to him as a manager. I think everybody's got right to do that. Like if you bring players and maybe he doesn't shoot his plan or his style of football, but for Buba he's got options. He can play him. For me, I like Buba. You know, I've always been a fan of Buba. You know, Buba. I mean, if Buba was fit, Buba was one of the best players because he can play different positions at the back. He can play right back. He can play center back. You know, but the fact that he's not having game time, it worries me. And when we are playing with good sides, like good teams like Mali and all that stuff, playing against top strikers, he's always shaky at the back. And the fact that we are going into a crucial game like Congo, a game that we cannot lose, I think it's risky to play players that are unfit, even though like you like them, you know, they fit your plans. You have to look for good options. Pick players that are fully fit. They're playing week in, week out. And Gambia's got so many players right now. Especially this season, there's lots of players. If he's checking his pack right, there's loads of players out there. They're ready. I mean, if he goes around clubs and meet the players, you could get good players that are fit, and bring them. Start his preparation on time. Maybe you have a 1 or 2 game, one game friendly. Even if it's going to be friendly against the local teams, you can play, you can test them and see. But I mean, he always feels like he's I mean, I think the fact that he has that relationship with the players that he selected, like the players that he started campaigning with them, he didn't want to leave them and move and take a risk to other players. For me, that's my opinion there. I think it's kind of like scare for change, you know, trying new players and then bringing new players to the team, and then it brings a bit more of complication for him. For me, that's what I see. But there's lots of players. Demba says there's so many players out there. They're ready, you know. Even like recently, that boy from Cambridge. If I was him, I'll give him a chance. I'll give Sekou. I'll give him a chance to come. He's confident, you know. The boy is confident. He's experienced. He's played in championship sides before, championship team. You know, even though he's in League One, but for me, I think he's in a better division than most of the players that he called them from other European countries. But you know, but that's our opinion. For that's my opinion and others and other pundits. But with him, he's got his own way. But for me, as far as he's bringing a winning team and he's getting the results for us, I think I would say by looking at his stats, he's not doing bad. To be fair, but it's a concern. For me, it's a concern to bring players that are unfit, players that doesn't have clubs. That's something that that needs to be addressed. That's my answer.
Yeah, Habibi, I come to you. Obviously, people will always have a say when it comes to the selection of the team, and that is across football. Football fans, sometimes they can be fickle. They can always think, okay, they are always in the right, but at the end of the day, these people are paid to do a job.
Yeah.
Are we looking at what do we want? Do we want substance or style? What are we looking at? Do
Both.
we do we want substance or style? Because what is at the end of the day, if for instance, I'm just playing the devil advocates, I'm in no way, shape, or form sharing my opinion about the manager. I've got my own, and it's not important on this platform because I'm here just to do the questioning. But at the end of the day, I need to play the devil advocate and give him the benefit of the doubt, and allow, his argument, to put forward his argument for people to understand, to decipher. It's left for people to see what they want to say about the coach. But like I said, if since he's been there, he's winning. And
Exactly.
for most people, that their argument would be, well, at the end of the day, he's winning football matches, and that's why we brought him. So who cares who he plays in that game? What would you say about that?
Yeah, if you look at football and you analyze football and you look at players, if you want to see coaches with the longest career, these are coaches that played better football going forward. If you look at the coaches that plays more of a defensive football, they at one point in their career they are stalled somewhere, and there are facts to back it up, because we all know Jose Mourinho is one of the best coaches in world football. But if you look at him in the later part of his career, things are not working out for him because of, you can say, the pattern of play he is trying to play is not sustainable in a long term. If you look at the coach of Atletico Madrid, Simeone, he falls under that bracket. He's a fantastic coach, but for how long will you be playing your players to be defending even lower opposition? That's not how it works in the long run. But if you look at coaches that are more expansive in the way they play, they have a better and longer career in the long run, because playing defensive football is part of football. I've seen Man City play against Arsenal last season at the Emirates. The moment Pep knew that Arsenal were up for it, he don't have a choice. He have to retreat and allow Arsenal to have most of the ball, because on that particular day, the Gunners were up for it and they controlled the game. They were having the ball, but for the first time, in a rare time, we saw Man City play in a different pattern of play. They allow Arsenal to have all the stats, but they end up winning the game by 2 goals or 3 goals to 1. So we need substance, but we also need pattern of football. No Gambian fan will be angry if we are playing Algeria or some of this household name. Imagine how we played against Algeria in the Gambia. When we played them and they have all these household stars, Mahrez, we had a good approach, and it was a 1-1 scoreline game, and nobody was complaining about how we approach the game. The only time Gambians will be a bit angry is when we are playing with teams that we should be winning, and then you see we play little bit deeper. That's the time that the fans become a little bit frustrated. But you can play defensive football sometimes, but you cannot play defensive football all the time. And I got the chance to speak to some of the defenders in the team, and they'll tell you, Mr. Fall, it's difficult to defend.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to defend, but at one point, your muscles are pumped up, and then you end up making mistakes. The moment you defend the entire game, you become fatigued, balls coming, ping-pong, left, right, center, and then, it's tough. But talking about Tom, he has his own way of playing. He's really a conservative coach. That's 100%. We expect him to approach the game that way until otherwise. But we expect also him to raise the bar of the national team. I think you have to earn it. Playing for the national team is something. It's a pride. So we should be allowing the best players in our country to do it. there should be a level of consistency that you should come with to play for a national team. The bar should be high. I've said this on numerous occasions. Before the Afcon, we have so many players who were loyal to the team. The Sohnas, Dinda, these players sacrificed their time and everything for Gambia. Okay, I think they have to go to the Afcon. Let's go. So we go. So, but I think immediately after the Afcon, the coach should have made it very clear to all the players. Guys, you know what? That was then. This is New Gambia. We're going to put the bar really, really, really high. To play for the national team, guys, you need to earn it. I don't mind sometimes some senior players, 1 or 2, can be included based on their experience and maturity. Yes, that's fair enough. But the majority, the majority part of the team should be based on merits. I cannot see a Gambian player scoring goals on a weekly basis and not getting a chance to come and play for the team. And one guy is out there, bench warmer or hardly play, and he's coming to the Gambia. I don't think that is fair enough. So I think 2 things that most Gambian fans don't appreciate when it comes to our coach. That is the playing defensive football in most of our games. People think that's not right, because we have shown to the world that we can play. We played Guinea. FIFA ranking, they are way ahead of us. We played them in the biggest tournament in Africa, the Afcon. We outplayed them from the first whistle to the final whistle, and that was a masterclass from the Gambia. So it means we can play. We can play if you allow us to play, because we have the players to roll the ball, to attack and do whatever. But here is a guy giving us results, and the moment you are having results, there's a difference between a supporter and a fan. The supporters will never see the city side of our game. For them, it's all about the stats and the results. They will never say, "Hey, no, hey, no, let him, buy him free. Yes, it's good. He's the luckiest coach we ever had. That's 100%. But going forward, Gambia should be a little bit aggressive, and that will allow us to market our players. Their value will be added if we are playing expansive football in the world stage. One of the reasons why the other 20 players are all out there in the market is because of the way we are playing. We are playing a very, very good football going forward from the Afcon to the World Cup. And I think if the under 20 can do it with lesser quality, the national team can even do it better, because they have better players, more experience, and they are older. So it's going to be a tough game, but we expect Tom to approach the game like he always do. So we, the fans or supporters or Gambian well-wishers, we just need to pray for him, because you might have a different opinion to the coach, but you don't have to wish him bad luck, because wishing the coach bad luck to feel vindicated, that's madness. Because if he loses, he's going back to Belgium. We as a country will face the consequences, and we will suffer the most. He's a guy that normally don't come to our country. He showed no love to our country. I think last time he was in the Gambia was when we defeated Angola at the stadium. So there's no closer tie between him and the Gambia. So we just have to pray for him that we will cross this hurdle. But most of us are not expecting much changes. I think 95 to 97% of the team, will be invited again. We might see a couple of new faces. I think there are Gambian players who just have to be in the team. For example, if I look at that Sekou Touré in Grenoble, he's a fantastic midfield player, strong, good passing ability, good work rate. He's a horse. I think he should be given a chance. And there are other players whom I think they should be in. I don't know what's happening with Modou Barrow, but I think he is one of those guys that from a counter-attacking playing style, there is no better player on the wing than him, because he's the fastest and he's very dimensional. He goes straight. to the defense, to the defense. So, you know, it's difficult to predict Tom, but I think he will do what he does best. Try to manage the game. And we as Gambians, we just have to wish him all the very best. But he has to be very careful because all what the people are trying to outline is just to make it better, not to criticize or hate him. Because we love our country. He can never love the Gambia more than us. We are on a different level when it comes to Gambia because it's our country. He might one day be somewhere else, but we will always be Gambian and we will always support Gambian football. But it's about time he also push the bar a little bit higher, you know, allow players with merits to come to the national team. And then, you know, in a couple of years' time, I don't think Gambia should be scared of any country because our players are going to the right clubs. And if they develop the right way, we will be a team to be reckoned with. But it's Tom. He has his way, you know, and the fact that he's getting results, we wish even against Congo, I don't mind we play bad and get the job done. And then from there we will see what gonna happen with the World Cup qualifiers. But I think it's gonna be a tough match, but I think it's very, very manageable. You know, we have to manage it because people that work with Tom will tell you he's not the best of tactician, but he's more of a motivator. He motivates the players. Hey, we can do it. We are Gambia. Let's come together. You know, these are some of the things he always reminds the players to push them to give their best. So I think we will make it, inshallah, come next month.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, coach, obviously as a former coach yourself. So I put forward the other side of the argument as well, because I want us to exhaust this topic. And the other side of the argument is that club football does not necessarily translate to national team football. We've seen the so-called golden generation of England back in the days, couple of years ago, you know, when you have your Gerrards, your Scholes and all that thing. And, you know, they perform at club level, but never at national team level. You as a former coach, when you were selecting your team, were you looking at players playing week in, week out, or players performing at the highest level, or were you looking at players that you trust? Like you know, if you're going in a war, you want to take this soldier, the one that you trust more than, you know. So what were you actually looking at during your time when you were selecting your players?
Trust definitely is high on my list. If I don't trust a player, I don't care how good the player is, because the player will never give you the results that you want. If I don't trust the player to maintain unity within the squad, I will not bring that player in my team. Unlucky enough for some of us, it works for us. Because personally, I was largely entrusted to develop the youth level in the Gambia back in those days, and the youth were the future, and the right attitude, the right mentality, the right commitment, the right discipline, and everything. So, but the way we coach in the Gambia and the way coaching goes professional level is two different things. It's two different things. Back then, up till now, I think still from what I understand, if you are the coach in the Gambia, it's like you are the father, you are the brother, you are the uncle, you are everything to those players. The players look up to you. But if it is professional level, yes, still that looking up to is there. The role model is there. But I think it have to be based on performance first, the ones that are performing, and what kind of league are they playing in, and what kind of team are they part of, the club. Then we will see, because there are players who are in top leagues, but they're not kicking a ball. And there are players who are in a small league, but they are playing week in, week out, and they are delivering on top of that. So there is consistency, which I always say, Anybody who is doing any successful business in this planet is not the product that you are selling. It's the consistency of the quality of the product that gives you that groove. So if we are having players signing big contracts with big clubs, but they are not playing for these clubs, why would we invite them? Because this is not a club football. This is a national team. And being in the national team, you are an ambassador. I remember when we used to travel, and I still is the same. You never go through immigration check-ins. That shows you how valuable national teams are. You always have that VIP treatment wherever you reach. Yes, I know back in those days in Africa, it was crazy. You get to the airport, you'll be left there sometimes for, God knows, 16, 18 hours before you get picked up. But you don't tend to go immigration checks. That shows you how important a national team is. So for me to invite national team players to the national team, they have to earn it. They have to earn it. And one person cannot do the scouting. And that's where I think the Gambia Football Federation is getting it wrong. One person cannot do this. You cannot. In every successful country, every successful club, you have a team of scouts that will scout these players and bring the statistics for you. And you go based solely on the statistics. And these scouts have to be a team to you. You have to trust them. You have to trust their judgment, because it's only that you can build a team that is capable of playing the football that you want and the football that will please the people who are paying their money to come and watch. And unfortunately, with the Gambia at the moment, this is lacking, because Tom is being given 100% control of the team and outside the football inside of it as well. He is free to do whatever he wants to do. I know some people might disagree, but I have reasons to say all these things, because he does his own scouting. He doesn't have any scouts who are doing the job for him. He even went to the extent that he is not paid for the flight tickets and hotels that he is using to go out there scouting these players. So that gives him the free hand to do whatever he wants to do, because the federation is not taking up responsibility to provide these things for him. So he is providing it for himself. And I think Habibi said one thing that is important, which he said, the people who work with Tom knows that Tom is not a good tactician, but he is a good motivator. Maybe this game, that's that motivation that's going to see us through, because this is a one-off game. It's like a final. Then going forward, then there is a problem. There is a problem. The Gambia wants something more attractive, more expensive, playing football with results. But unfortunately for the Gambian people, and the bad news for the Gambian people, he have a 5-year new contract. And nobody can tell us what does this contract entail, whether he can be sacked, whether he can walk away if he have a better deal, because that has been all kept tightly on the wrap between the federation and Tom. So nobody knows, with probably the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I don't know exactly what is in this contract. All we know is I've never known a long contract like this, and the coach is not there to work with the youth development side, assisting them technically. So his whole contract is for the senior national team, and a 5-year contract, and he lives overseas. He don't even watch our league. He don't travel to the country. He have no connection with the country. He's not feeling what the fans are feeling. It's up to him, to his discretion, whether he is going to have a press conference or no press conference. When you pick a team, you should be having a press conference. You should be answerable to the local media. But maybe he have done it, but I've not seen him doing all these things. But like I said, it's the federation. Nobody knows what does that contract entail. But all I would say is, at the minute, is the whole Gambia should be behind him. The whole Gambia should support him and the team, so that we can qualify, because that's what we need. And I think for the first time, many Gambians will support his negative tactics on this game. If he chooses to defend and get us the results, the whole Gambia will be happy with it. I mean, going forward, that's where the problem is. which is still a bad news for the Gambia because he have a 5-year contract. So he's still there. Unless and until he goes to the Cup of Nations, the national team does well, and some other country sees him, or he get himself into another country and it is part of his deal that he can walk away and stuff like that, then walk away. But we don't know exactly what is in his contract. All we know is a 5-year contract. But for this game coming, whoa, the whole Gambia will be supporting him. Even if he plays, I mean, as long as he qualifies, as long as he qualifies, even if he employ a negative tactics and get the results, you know. But one thing we should be very, 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 very understanding here is Paul Put, not a technician, a tactician. Paul Put. That's his strength. And he will try to explore that, find weaknesses in the national team of the Gambia, find individual weaknesses, and you would see him packing 2-3 players on that department to try and explore that position. That's always been his strength. He would do it again against the Gambia. And you watch the game carefully and see, wherever you see 2-3 players of Congo overloading, know that that's where their tactics relies on. That's where they think is the weakest link. That's where they think they can explore and get what they want. But like I said, if they play as a team, like Habib says, the strength of the coach is the motivation. Now we need that strength to come out. Let him motivate the team properly. Psychologically, let him get in their heads and prepare them that like this is a one-off final, that they have to do everything possible. Nobody should be thinking, oh, if I go back to my club, I might be losing my position. If I get injured, I go there, I will not be playing, and stuff like that. Because some players will be playing with this in mind, that whenever you go to the national team, you go back to your club, it's always a problem to get your position back. Somebody else have fill it in, or something else have happened. And these European clubs do this a lot to African players, a lot. You know, this have been going on for years, and unfortunately, the Confederation of African Football haven't done anything in collaboration with FIFA to stop this happening. Sometimes our players can be victimized out of nothing. But this game, Tom have to do everything. All that motivational skills he got, that is his strength. He have to use it to make sure that the players are focused solely for this game, because it's a one-off game for the team to qualify. And whatever team he decide to pick, that's his decision, and that's mainly his thing to do, because he is the manager, he is the coach. He would bring the players that would give him the results, and I would not fault him at all. I would only fault the people who put him there, because they're the ones who give him the powers to do whatever he wants to do. Because our technical department in the Gambia is completely weak. I'm not gonna say they are incompetent, but it's weak, because I haven't seen any kind of a job that they're doing with the coach to make sure that things change from the Afcon in Cameroon up till now. I've seen the same pattern going on. I'm not saying to radically change everything, but on the scouting department, they haven't done much. He does everything for himself. And he clearly says that he pays his flight ticket, he pays his hotel accommodation. So there is no scout for him. He is doing it all out of his own pocket. God knows how much these people are paying him then. Because if these people are paying him peanuts, why would he be doing all that out of his pocket? Why? Are we asking ourselves? Is he involved in certain contracts with certain players? Is it the reason why he's getting these players in the national teams? To help them get contracts, then he will have his cut. Is that the situation? Why would he be spending his own money if he is not paid big bucks? Why? This is something that needs answering. But for this game, we don't need that at the minute. We don't need no distraction. All we need is concentration at the minute and get the qualification that we need. But certainly these are things that need answering. I mean, proved by him. If I was a journalist who would be interviewing him on a press conference, I would bring this topic back. I would ask him, why would you be spending your own money on flights and accommodation if you are not well paid by the national team of the Gambia? You know, if you are not well paid, why are you doing that for? Tell us. Why are you not watching the local league? Why you don't have any connection with the Gambian people? Why? I need to know all these things, because it is very important to us. Because us Gambians, we have this thing that is called a family thing, where Any compound you go to, you knock on their door, they welcome you. Anywhere you go, you need feeding, they help feed you. Even if they don't have enough, they share with you. And the people who employs him should have told him that we have this cultural thing that have been going on in the Gambia forever. That unity is always a Gambian thing, that bond. That's why we were called the Smiling Coast. We are welcoming a small little Gambia all the time. That's how we are. But why is he not having the connection? We need to know all these things because it plays an important role in the development of the national team, in the going forward of him staying in the national team. But like I said, a 5-year contract, that's the biggest bizarre one I've ever known in Africa, African football, a coach having a 5-year contract. I've never known anything like that. Never.
Yeah.
Cham, sorry, 1 minute before Ibi goes. Ibi have touched some important points here, which are very, very, very important. As a coach, you should be coming home because as a coach, there are coaches in Gambia. There are grassroots coaches in Gambia. So as a national team coach, I think that it's very important for Coach Bobunonu should be in the Gambia, trying to help those people, those kids, even those coaches that are there, trying to be bigger coaches. And the other thing is, the important thing is, if he is traveling and doing the scouting and going by himself and using his own money and stuff, then which means that as a nation, we don't know what we are doing. Because you don't get a coach to be traveling and do the scouting by himself.
Baba, someone said it here last week. Was it Habibi, I think, that even the federation are not watching the league themselves, especially if it's on a Saturday, Sunday. So if they are not watching the league themselves, how do you expect the coach? What can they tell the coach? That's the question, isn't it?
Ibi said another thing, he doesn't respect, not him, the federation, they don't respect us. Because if they have need respect, they would have allowed this. There is no coach in this national team, starting from Paul Put, name them. Every coach, Borges for the national team lives in the Gambia. Because how many you are representing Gambia, not Belgium, not Sweden, not anywhere else. You're representing Gambia, so you should be in the Gambia. Follow our league. Go to to coaches, whatever it is. Even this D-Lancing they've done, he should have been there and be part of that D-Lancing with the coaches and share knowledge or share ideas with those coaches. And if you are a good one, but like Ibi said, okay, no one is coming out telling us what kind of contract, what agreement it is. No, this is how biased they are, or this is how dodgy they are. Because if you're not dodgy, or you don't go plainly you should come out and tell us the contracts and tell us this, tell us that. Nobody's talking about that. Number one, he doesn't come to Gambia. Nobody's talking about that. Number two, he doesn't even care about players. And what Ibi is saying, the Fajara Halad, maybe there are players, they're giving this coach money to fly, to go check them, to go so they can be part of the national team selection again. So if that happens, obviously he will call those players. While the federation are the one that are responsible for his ticket, his hotels, and all this scouting, it's easy. No player will be controlling you. No player will be telling you what to do. How many of you understand? This coach normally go and visit players. I'm not saying he shouldn't be doing that, but as a coach, you are employed. Do your job. Understand? You couldn't have favorite players or this or that or this. Because sometimes we have players, they are regular national team players, 5 or 6 of them right now. Obviously, even the list is not out. Man, I know that they are there. It already. Simple as bangfa. Mungi you play, you nyaka play. 6 of them, they are there already. They've been selected already. So what's behind all that? Come out and explain. Like Ibi said, your press conference, you're not giving us press conference. So if you are not giving us press conference, the journalists are not talking to you. And so now, who are you working for? Are you working for Gambia, or you working for the federation? And the federation, who are they working for? For the Gambian. We put them there. But it's a lot of questions. Mana Habib, we are Ibi. We've talked about this ages. We've complained about this contract be 5 years. Where in the world, just the new job coach 5 years contract? You give coaches 3 years, 2.5, and then you see how it goes. Why, if we don't know anything about the contract, I mean, boy, I'm going to change to another.
No. It's interesting.
Yeah,
You can carry on. The thing is, it's interesting. The thing is,
it's
I think
frustrating. And
the
it's
contract is
disrespectful.
something. Yeah.
It's very disrespectful, Cham. It's very disrespectful. We have a coach that doesn't live in Gambia, that doesn't answer to any Gambians. Even journalists, he chooses which journalists to talk to, and then he chooses which journalists to answer questions, or he chooses what to do, man. He even chooses to take his own flight, go check this player, that player. He's not checking that other player. Like the Haba is saying, Cambridge got players. We got players in England, week in, week out. Even if he can't come to England, EB is a professional coach. EB is a coach. He's a very talented coach. Tell EB, let the federation come. You know, EB, okay, we pay for your hotel for 2 nights. Go to London and scout on you do. Demba ayo sorry ulo Manchester ak Bolton ak Fini. We got this player. Can you go and scout that player for us? I can even drive myself. Do my like essence, do my like that just for the Gambia direct. So, but why is it a one coach? Imagine a better coach scouting the whole, is scouting players for the whole nation. Just one person, just a coach. Lolufum I'm a fan.
And Baba,
you have technical team, you have scouts, you have.
And Baba,
can I read this? This Lamin Cham says, our problem is the human resources when it comes to Gambian sports. We need experts in the area of quality coaches, sport biomechanics, sports and exercise scientists, sports and exercise psychologists, etc., to guide our youths to high performance level. Coaches need to know something about physics, chemistry, and biology. Modern coaching is science. Yeah, and you know there is an element of truth in that. To be honest, I think that's definitely
important stuff.
And guess what?
And guess what? It's important. They don't care about all these things.
But the moment I saw, the moment I understand the coaches who are training the upcoming coaches, I know then I knew we are doomed. Coaches that didn't coach for 10 to 15 years. The moment I saw those people as lecturers or men, I said, "What is happening? These guys are not up to date. These guys have been coaching. They didn't coach a team for almost 15 or 20 years old. They are not in the look. Those are. I couldn't believe it.
But maybe Habibi, maybe they've just underwent a training, because sometimes all you need is just the stuff in there. Maybe you don't know.
Gambia,
maybe you don't
Gambia is a country that don't like to have a change. They have a system whereby this Kabudu thing, these guys are my guys. They will be. It's a source of income for them. Football has moved on, like Mr. Cham has said. Football has moved on long time ago. You have to stay, and Ghana is the only country whereby you have your license and there are no refreshers. They don't even refresh their license. They just want to have it. Oh, I have a C license, I have a D license, and you don't have a team. You are not even coaching, but you have it in your house. Hey, keep man football, mama them coaching course, patati patata. Football is a continuous process. We need modern day coaches to teach our upcoming coaches. You understand? But those old guards at in the system should definitely retire. The earlier, the better. They are old. They got
Ibu Fai, is he a technician, or because I've always seen him on the bench? What?
Yeah, it's only in the Gambia. It's only in the Gambia you consider. You know, even though Ibu Fai has been into football all his life, he understands the game, but that doesn't give him that doesn't give him the mandate or the warrants to be on the bench. Whereby you
listen, Habib, we have to be honest here. It happens at Man United. Darren Fletcher sits on the bench, and it's somehow a similar, not very similar role, but he shouldn't also. You can argue that he shouldn't be on the bench as well. So
what relation those Ibu holds?
I don't know. You should say
Thank you
tell
very
me
much.
because
Thank you very much.
because
This is different. This is different.
yeah.
You talking of Manchester United bench.
Mo, Ibu don't only sit.
You think Gambia or D lines in Labat Sila Obejoka? You think
No, listen.
If I'm really honest, I don't think Manchester United are any better. If I'm really honest.
Are you kidding me?
Listen.
Are
What I'm
you-
saying is,
No.
Assistant coach Alaji Sar.
Ask EB.
Ibi Alaji Sar, if you check his lines in he may even got maybe a C lines in Slam or D lines in
again, no. What I'm saying here is sitting on the bench is one thing. Ibu don't only sit on the bench. He is directly giving instructions to the. You see them.
There you go.
You can sit on the bench for a different purpose. Have you ever seen Fletcher talking to the coach? And no. Being on the bench is one thing. Ibu is not there just to sit. He is. The coach will even bypass Aragisar and talk to Ibu. And Ibu Aragisar is the official assistant coach of the national team. So what is happening in the Gambia is just a warga thing. It can only happen in the Gambia.
Gambia happen. It
So
only happens in Gambia.
let's say it.
Only
But
in
my biggest concern for the upcoming coaches, this CAF C license and
I change this more topic direct. I
was thinking, for example, if Gambia want to do this CAF C license or A or B license, I was expecting coaches will come from Senegal or Nigeria or Angola, like interchange. I want to see different coaches at the highest level come to Gambia, but those who are the ones in the Gambia are not even coaching.
Habibi, just not to cut. I'm not cutting you short. I'm sorry, but they are actually Gambians. EB is got a license, and you know he's been in a same class with Eddie Howe. You know what I mean? So
I'm saying.
Exactly. So they are Gambians who are capable of doing this job. So you don't even Idrissa Sonko, for instance. These are all.
I've been advocating. I've been saying, Co. They will not call people like EB or ED. They will not, or Dudulu or Pafufana. They will not. We all know they will not. Badembo, they will not. We have tons of Gambians with modern day license. They are up to the tax. They know how football. The key boys. They will not. But maybe EB will not have time to come to Gambia because number one, they will not pay your air ticket or your hotel reserve. They will not pay you zero. But because it's CAF, they can have this system whereby people can come from other countries and teach Gambians how football should be played or how football should be done. But in our country, those old guys, they've been out of football for the longest time. They understand the game, but not modern day football. Football have moved on.
But Ellis. Imagine Ellis. Even Ellis done. Ellis don't know.
He took over my place when I left. Yes.
Ellis will lebaning lines digang. I nyom Ellis. I nyom Sandong. I nyom. Imagine coaches that come. Habib, what Habib is saying. It's important. We got coaches. They are not update. They are not up to date. I know they are Gambians, yes, but bring coaches. They will give these kids the D license that are updated. It only means the courses they gave to these kids. It's not even up to now. It's not up to date.
Secondly, Gambian coaches should start to people have to specialize because, for instance, we have few of them who will specialize on being a fitness trainer, like what Paan is doing. Paan in UK, he will tell you, I can coach, but my his main area is he is a fitness coach. Specifically, he is a fitness coach. During this C or D license, coaches should be able to understand what exactly do they want. Do you want to be a fully fledged coach or you want to be patati or patata? But the problem is the direction is not there because those responsible have been out of football for the longest time. With due respect to them,
Habib,
You should be
I'm
doing
not coaching you. I'm not coaching you. Like you're saying now, when it comes to this fitness thing, man, okay, imagine even this kid that went, this no, our kid, Adama for the under 20, he went to this France. From Negani, how many weeks is they working on his fitness? Fit. With all the games he played for Biko, with all the training because Adnan is giving him training, I'm a fitness trainer. Okay, Timba, when he was in Gambia, he went to, I don't know which country was it. They dropped him, because you know fit.
Sweden.
Every day, Timba was in Gambia training every day, but it doesn't fit. Our coaches, like you said, I'm a fitness trainer because we don't even know all those things that are important. Adam Amongini, his team, they already start playing. While he's still working on his fitness. So legi mom lum at bum def biko no ye fitut. Biko lang yon ko nekk di train. So when you say come to ko wahela rek adna tenya adna tamit, he went to this D license and then he doesn't even know how to give players fitness.
There is capacity for everything.
Exactly.
You understand? There is capacity. You have to, if you want to be a teacher, you have to go to the college or whatsoever. If you want to be a fitness trainer, you cannot learn this from the street. No. Capacity building is key for Gambian coaches going forward. GFF should make sure for example, they have an MOU with Morocco, Spain, and they should make sure capacity building is key. They should help these people to move from the level they are. The level in the Gambia, it's very low. It's very, very low. So going forward, these are things that they have to change. People who didn't coach for 20 years, what can they tell you? What can they tell you? Nothing.
Baba,
Yeah.
I just want to add something on the fitness of Adam you're talking about. So when you look at Adam, the level that he came from is like coming from amateur. Because Gambian football, I don't think if it's semi-pro, it's just below semi-pro. You know, so the fitness level of teams playing in non-league here and the teams that are playing in League One is even different fitness level. And he is going to more like one of the European elite leagues. So you're expecting that his fitness level would be definitely below the players that he's training with, you know. So I think that's something to do with not only the coaches, but in entire level of the game in Gambia. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. So okay, that actually leads me to the question I actually wanted to ask was obviously, and this is to any one of you or all of you, is obviously we've seen the trend of all these players signing contracts and going abroad and all these things. But to be honest, it's quite a few that stands out. If we are being honest, you know what I mean, when it comes to the clubs that they are going, some of the clubs maybe, you know, no disrespect to any one of them or whatever, but some of the clubs we don't even know. So what do you think? Is it also time now that, like you said, Baba, you've played at the highest level, and do you think the coaches or the coach should start also looking at home-based players? Because in football, obviously, consistency, like Ibi said, is crucial. If you're going to be playing regularly, that is important, you know, for the legs as well. So what is the difference between taking maybe a player or inviting a player who is playing in Israel and then a player who is playing in Gambia? Is there any difference? You know, a player who is playing in the Gambia may be playing regularly and maybe playing more competitive than the one playing in another lower European or Eastern European league. Is it not high time that the coaches start looking at Gambian players as well? Maybe that motivates them as well and give them the opportunity to also have those contracts.
Yeah, no, very important, very, very important. Looking at bigger teams, bigger countries like Nigeria.
But you're far from your mic, mate.
Okay, can you hear me? Is it better
Yeah,
now?
a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm just saying it's very, very important because even looking at the bigger countries like Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. These countries, they have big players. They have players playing at the highest level, and they got players playing in their own domestic leagues. But they'll bring three or four players to the national team. Even in the bigger tournament, like let's say in the bigger tournament, they'll include three or four home-based players, and they make sure they play them. They play them in one or two games in the competition. So, but I've never seen the golfer doing that since he's been in Gambia. But I feel with him, it's like he's doing things. In my opinion, he's doing things by his choice. Like the FA, the federation is not involving. They're not telling him what needs to be done. Because he just feel like he has to go for players that are playing in Europe. They are more experienced. They're playing better league, and that's what he needs. To sort of like set his team. But this is a national team. It's about Gambian football. It's not only about him, as Baba was saying. He should consider the Gambian players, the players that we have them back home. They need to get motivated. They need to be around these players, because you see the players are always talking like they look at themselves. They're good enough to represent their country, and which I would back them for that. There is a lot of talent we have back home. We have a lot of players. Even looking at the youth level, we've seen them. They prove it. They went, played against other national teams, and they proved themselves. That, compared to, I mean, the same thing applies to other players that are playing in the same league with them, even not the same age, but then they're national team players, but they're not getting that privilege to be called up to the national team and play. Back in the day, when we used to have previous managers, like the home-based managers that we used to have before, they used to have 4 or 5 players in the national team. Even though it's a different generation now, football has changed a lot. We have so many players in Europe playing in better leagues, coming home and play, and coming home and represent the country and play, and doing better. Doing the national team is doing better than before. But then that was because we never used to have a lot of players, from top European clubs to represent the country. But I think, in my opinion, to consider to put our league, our own Gambian football on the map, we need to consider our home-based players as well, for people to know that we have players back home that can play football as well. It's not like every player that plays in Europe or every player that's born in Europe and representing our country. That's what we need. We need to show our football. Like Senegal have so many players. They have so many players, but I'm sure sometimes they will use their couple of their national local based players train with the national team. They train with them, But he doesn't do none of that. He doesn't call none of them. He only have his friends. I don't know if his friends or the players that he trusts, or the players that he has relationship with them. We only see the same players from the last 2-3 years. It's only a few changes you will see. He will bring one player, invite one player, maybe invite him. He won't even give him a game time, and then and the next game you don't see the player anymore. This is what's gonna keep going on. Obviously, this guy is not gonna be in Gambia forever, and obviously the Gambian football will realize this after the 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 assistant, is it the assistant or the staff members that he has, his the backroom staff that he has. To be fair, I'm looking at all of them. I don't know much about them, but I don't know what's their role in that backroom staff, because I don't see them doing anything. They're just sitting down there, just watching the man doing his thing, and nothing is being said. He
Yeah.
made everything by himself. You know.
Yeah.
He made everything by himself. For me, like that's something like I don't really see. Like when you look at other countries like Nigeria, yeah, they have foreign managers, yeah, but they always select one big guy that will be around them, around the manager, and someone who is close to the players as well, you know. But Gambia don't have them. To be fair, you don't have it.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah, but sorry, Mo, what you were asking about, why home? Our league, to be honest with you, we're gonna come back to what we were talking about when it comes to giving the coaches these D lines and people that are giving, because if we have people that are already old or backdated, or they never refresh their lines in and stuff, what they got, that's what they're gonna give. And the coaches they're giving it to, those coaches gonna give it to those players as well. Okay, so those players also, they're gonna be players that are that suits the leagues they're going. Like you said, we have players from Gambia, Mili Alonko, they are in leagues. Every day if you go online, a Gambian sign where Korujan boy, Atondi, Slovakia, all these countries that is not, because the quality they have. If you go to Gambia and watch the league, you watch the league. I know that we have quality good players, but the problem is, like I was saying, the coaches, they are coaches. Million license dealer, the people that coaches those coaches to have their license, the D license. Your knowledge don't mean dealer, the knowledge they gave them, that's the knowledge they pass into these players. So these players, these are the okay, look at Nicola Jackson. He was playing for Gambian League. He went to Senegal, start playing for Senegalese league, and then Chelsea straight. Ima Samba Lonla, Ima Samba straight to Chelsea. Because if you look at Senegal, his coaches or the coaches in Senegal, in League One, their Premiership, their league, go and check their coaches. All of them go and check their license and go back to Gambia, check their license, and check Senegalese coaches, the license, who are giving them this license. Probably you have people that are coming from France, Marshall, coming to give these coaches, these courses. Okay, compared to Gambia, you have people since 98 airlines, and they never refresh it. Okay, so those coaches pass this, give these other coaches this D lines in course. So they're giving them the actual knowledge they have. They're passing it to them. And those ones are passing it to our players. So our players gonna be this quality. This Ndomaringo boy, this Sar Ndoke from playing for Tottenham. Ismail Assar. This kid is a young, talented kid. They all play in Senegal. All these Manes and Idrissa Gana Gay, they play from Senegal and then straight to bigger clubs. Martial to bigger high clubs. You know why that's happening? It's because the coaches they are training and the way they're playing in Senegal and everything. If they come over, it's easy to mingle in a Premiership team straight, because Milika courses will dealer. The people that are giving them these courses, this license, A license or whatever, D or C or Q, they're up to date. They're up to date. So like you were saying, if we have to go back to Gambia and start selecting the national team from Gambia to represent, yes, like Dahaba is saying, we could have, like we are doing, we always have that. EB knows that. Even if we have national team professionals, we blend them with 5 home-based players or 6 home-based players to be around those professionals, to feel how professional life is. So it will be easier for us to adopt. If you understand, every national team, but all that is wiped out. Every national team selection, you have home base 5 or 6 people that will be attached to them, and then will be part of, even if you be on the bench or even not in the bench, if you're upstairs, it's fine, but you would train with the senior national team. We were doing that, the likes of me and, Bierhoff, Daddy Gay, name them. So if we are not going to give our coaches good coaching, and we're giving them this D lancing from LS and Parfait and Sangdong, and the coaches, know what they gave them. That's what they're gonna give to these coaches in Gambia, and the coaches are gonna pass it on to those players. So that is why it's very hard. Look at this kid, this Messi kid. You know why Messi went to how to call it again? Messi went to Newcastle straight, and then Feyenoord, because Messi is always going to Denmark at that academy.
Yankuba Minte. Is it
Yankuba
Yankuba Minte? Okay,
exactly,
because if you
because
say
Yankuba,
Messi, it confuses people. Yeah.
so yeah, because Yankuba is in Denmark every 3-4 months. Akata Denmark like play J. I say now he plays with Biko, go back to Denmark. So his way of playing and training and everything helps him to be at that level. Like I said, look at all the Senegalese players from Senegal, boy, Katala boy. They'll be in Marseille, Paris, and Germany, straight boy to bigger clubs. But in Gambia, it's very rare from Gambia. Yet out from Gambia, we go to Peru or whatever you call it. Some other names. No, that is true. Our players.
If you look at Baba, if you look at the Senegalese under 20, the best player, Lamine Camara.
Yeah.
He's currently playing with Metz from Senegal straight to Metz. He's currently playing in the first team. He's playing he's playing because the level of coaching in Senegal is kind of superior. So players are already prepared to play at the highest level.
But
now
don't you think also connection plays a part? Because there is a very strong connection.
But once they have this connection,
but the player have to show what he can do.
No, they have connection. Senegal have this connection, but the level of coaching, they are preparing their players to play at the highest level. Because before in Senegal, from Senegal you have to go to France. There is nothing like trials now. From Senegal straight, you go into the first team. You start playing because their coaches are already being prepared by top coaches, A licensed, UEFA B licensed coaches. The difference is in our country, we don't have such kind of coaches who will be coming to Gambia on a consistent basis and giving lectures to our coaches, unlike Senegal. Talent-wise, Gambia is super talented. We are blessed with talent, but football is way bigger than just talent. Because you have to get a sense of direction, and only coaching can do that. That's why coaches are different. We have so many coaches, but there are coaches who are elite coaches. They understand the game differently. So we need more modern-day coaches in the Gambia to help our coaches develop their game. And the more we have good coaches in the Gambia, the better for the league, because it means those coaches will spread those positive thinking and the way football is been played. Whenever you are out of the Gambia, wherever you go, you should be able to play without any problem. Because going on a trials in Europe is 50-50, and most of the players coming from our league are normally going on trials. And then you can go on trials, things might not work out for you. But in Senegal, nobody talk about trials. Most of their players now are just going and they are signing with decent clubs. So in Gambia we have very good players, but I think the level of coaching it's very, 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 very low. Because if you are watching the league and you it's difficult for you to pinpoint one or two clubs that plays a certain way. No, most of the teams are playing almost the same kind of play. It's all about individual brilliance that is making the difference. It's not, you didn't see any team in the Gambia that, maybe there was a time Falcons were playing some kind of, but to play a certain way until say, hey, this team is above no, doesn't exist. Maybe see youth when he was with Ports, I've watched Ports play and they roll the ball really well and they will dominate the game with fantastic play. See youth, I can say, was a guy, and see youth. He was in Germany. He got his license somewhere around there, so he understands football differently. So you could see his way of coaching. He was with Bangul also, a very, very, very average team. He went there and transformed them to a different kind of a team. So that is where coaches come into play. So our coaches in the Gambia, they need help. They need help from top coaches to come back home and give them what they deserve. Because, like you all said, we've got Gambian with license. In Gambia, you can have your license, and there's nothing like. In fact, I think the last time we have a B license course was way too long. way, I don't know, when was that? This is a long time ago. So it's still B, C, D and C. Very elementary, D and C. So it's a problem. The level of coaching in the Gambia it's very low. It's very low, and it's not good for the players, because if you are a very low coach, what can you do? What can you do? It's like being a kindergarten teacher, and we still need teachers who will be teaching in the higher schools or in the universities. But most of our coaches have this C and D license. But just a few of them have this B license. So that's a problem going forward. And these are things that we need to change when it comes to capacity building. And at GFF, they talk about capacity building. Well, if you go on the FIFA Forward site and see, you could see that there's an area purposely funds should be tapped and used for capacity building. And I don't think they are doing that as they should, But like I said, these are things that we need to change going forward if we want to make it easy for our players to go to Europe and just start playing, because they need to teach them the right way.
Yeah, Coach, do you want to dilate on that? Obviously, it's your area of expertise. So do you want to say anything about that? And then we can just wrap up with nearly the 2-hour mark.
No, actually, what the guy says is absolutely true. I just find certain things very difficult to comprehend still now, knowing the way the Gambia operates as a whole. Like I said last week on our program here, we are full of brain dead, people who have no good thinking for the future. There is no plan for tomorrow. The whole plan is for today. And as Gambians, we always want immediate results. And this is hindering our progress, and it's been hindering our progress from time now. And I always used to tell my fellow coaches in the Gambia when I was there, if they rely on them to help them, they will not help them. I have to pay my own to come and learn. I remember my first coaching course in 2001 with CK Jamfi. You can look him up. CK Jamfi, he's a Ghanaian guy. He's the first African to play in the Bundesliga, the first African football player to wear football boots. Very funny. And he won the Africa Cup of Nations as a player. Once, he won it twice as a coach for Ghana. When he came to the Gambia, this license have been going on for ages during Obi Konate, Gabi Sose, all these courses have been going on for ages. But I always say it gives you a little bit help, but it doesn't help you all. When we did that course with CK Jamfi, and it was a B Africa B license, whatever it is called, at the time, I have the certificate with me still now. And he identified 5 of us there, whom he said to us that I will make a recommendation to your federation at the time for us for them to try and help us go overseas for studies. And he did the recommendation. Never happens. Never happens. And we stayed there. I'm just giving you a brief why Gambian coaches should try and help themselves. The federation will not. Imagine, this is 2001. So many years ago, 2001. And then down the line, CK Jamfi went, and a coach by Obi Messinga. He was the national team coach for Sierra Leone. And if I am right, he was the second most successful national team coach in the history of Sierra Leone. He was coaching Walidan at the time. That's the time that Walidan was having the players, Edward Cisse, Alpha Silla, very, very good players at the time. Real de Banjul was having Brahim Jallo and Pasafa, central defender, tall up like a giant, but brilliant. Yes. Yeah. Dudjau and all that stuff.
Benjamin Corriers.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Benjamin Correa, the central defender, sweeper. He replaced Sol Fai when Sol Jany or something like that, when he traveled to the UK. Yes, Jany. He traveled to the UK. Benjamin Correa took over. And these were times. These times all, I'm telling you, I was coaching. I was young still, but I was coaching all these times. The Sijuf you were talking of, when I was coaching Latjor with Flan, Sijuf was playing for for Ports Authority at the time with Chinese, with
China man.
you know, yes. I forget some of these guys, their names now. This
Did
was
you coach Lamin Sabali? Do you know Lamin Sabali from ESO? Sabali, short striker, short and fast.
Yes. He played for Bantang
Sabali
in Bakau.
Yeah, Sabali and my guy Mbof.
Oh my God.
Mbof moy captain amidi. Mbof moy captain amidi. Mbof moy captain amidi Bakau United. Mbof momun Gambia football. Eto yep mo da football.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Even Smokoto Idisa Mbof for da football.
Yes.
No, after ñoo ndor. Mbof and Idi came together. Idi dem real. Mbof dem Sidial and Idi
and the third guy was there too.
Yeah. Two family.
Those are my guys.
All right. Yes. So Obi Messinga make recommendations for the federation also for trying to help, because Obi Messinga went to America with Daifan. Daifan passed away in America some time back. He also was the national team coach for Sierra Leone. They came to the Gambia. They saw the talent the Gambia was having, but they did encourage the late Obi Konate's led federation at the time, well, association at the time, to help find a way of educating young coaches in the Gambia. But like I said earlier on, our vision is always now. It's not for tomorrow. And it never happens until Harry Gaba, the owner of Samga, came again, the third person who came in there, saw me and spoke with me and said, have you done any overseas courses? I said, once, through George Gomez, through the Budapest, Hungary, Samlet University, when I went there with Bonu and Pafai. But that was not purely coaching, that was physical education for 3 months. He said, I can help you if you can get the federation to pay. I said, what? He said, I am the first registered football agent in England at the time, those days. And he said, I can speak, this was 2006. He said, I can speak with the, and I can get you there if you can pay the course fee and your flight tickets and accommodation. And I went to the federation, and mark you, this time, the under-17, Baba and them lot have graduated to the under-20 and Bonu and all that stuff. So they hand me over the under-17s. And mark you, this time again, this under-17, they hand me over with Tariq. We've been to Ivory Coast and won a trophy that the Gambia have never expected, have never even happened at the time for us to win any trophy outside the country. This was the under-17, which was prepared only for 2 weeks. I went and told them, listen, this is an opportunity. I want to sign an extensive contract with you people, pay my course fee and my flight tickets. And then let me study, come back and work for the Gambia for how long you guys wish. And nobody accepted it. So I have to sell my cars in the Gambia, because I was doing a business buying cars from Germany, reselling them back then in the Gambia whilst I was still working in football, my own hustle. I have to literally half close my business to pay fund at the time, £12,800 to come and do my license in the UK. And now I didn't even have a flight ticket. I went back to the same federation, association at the time. I've paid my schooling. I've got the acceptance. I've got my visa. Now all I need, I've already sorted out my accommodation. It's my flight ticket. That's what I need from Gambia Experience at the time, which was around $5,000 something. And the answer is no. And mark you, this is a coach who won a trophy for you, the first trophy to be won outside the country. This is a coach who have proved himself with youth football. Now I've paid the highest boarding, £12,800. They did not. I have to find a way, which is part of one land that I inherited. I have to sell it to pay and come and study. And the minute I got my qualification, I was on the newspapers. Out of 28 of us, Eddie Hove, what's his name again? The coach of Newcastle again. What's his name now? He was playing at the time. He was only 28 at the time. He didn't.
Anyhow.
Yeah, and Sean Dash, Malky Mackay, all this lot. Sunday only say we were the only 2 black people in that course. I have all these pictures. At the time, there was no videos for us to be taking videos to prove, but we have photographs to prove all those things. 28, and I came out 4th position, the best practical exams. I won, came fourth position on the best practical out of all this. And I was the only guy who have never played professional football. And my results, I send it all to the federation. And I was in some of the newspapers in the UK, which you can still look up if I am right. And they didn't even bother. They did not bother. And what happened? They gave my position away when I was coming back home, 2007. And I asked them, I have a contract and I haven't got a letter to terminate my contract. You people have no right to give away my position. I can take you to court. But I never did that. I never followed through. And I left, came back to do my UEFA A license the following year. And I told Ellis at the time, when he went with Tadic to the under-17 in Algeria, when they won it there, and I told Ellis, now you got the money that Yaya Jammeh give you guys. And this is, I'm not saying this to slag him off or nothing. I'm not saying it. I have utmost respect for him as a person, to be honest with you, and what he done. But I encourage him to enroll him, help him enroll, because I've now got the connection so that he can come and no, the answer to me was, I'd rather go back to the farm, you know, than continue staying in football. This was his response to me. You know, the only person at the time, late Bonu, who was willing, but he didn't have the money. And I said, I don't have the money either to pay for you. I can create the materials for you. And I've been encouraging people like Alaji Sar, who is a good friend of mine up till today. He's the most successful, I mean, local coach in the history of the Gambia. The domestic trophies that guy won, no coach have ever won it. And he have played also professional level. But they could not bother help him educate himself to further his education. And that guy, that brother, I've worked with him. The first under-17 I was involved. He was the head coach. I was the assistant coach. And I can tell you, he's a very good trainer. He is a very, very good trainer. But unfortunately, his knowledge is limited to the Gambian level. When we go to national team level, we always been outclassed tactically. But when we come to local level, you could see what he can do. So someone like that should have been helped. But he's never been helped. And I'm asking my fellow still coaches in the Gambia, they should try educate themselves overseas. They should try it, because if they're waiting for the federation, it's never going to happen, because there's so many things that is going wrong in Gambian football. For example, one thing that you guys touch in here, the national team should be having 1 or 2 local players who are at the top level, performing top football, being voted the best players of the league. They should be part of the national teams, to encourage them, to show the other players that if you do well, no matter how much professionals we have playing overseas, you will be part of the national team. That should be there. There's certain games that you have already qualified. You could use these players. You could help them, encourage them 1 or 2. Senegal does it. Nigeria does it. Ghana does it. South Africa does it. Egypt does it. Why Gambia cannot do it? It comes back to the coach don't have any relationship with the Gambia, because he don't waste his time going to the Gambia watching nothing. And again, if the federation is not watching it, why would they watch it? I went there watching the league, just to elaborate more on what Habibi said. The Gambian football that I left there is still going on there. Where the ball goes, the goal kick is being taken by the central defender. The goalkeeper will just place the ball for you, back down, and the central defender come and kick. And I'm sitting there thinking, what am I seeing here?
Coach, bàyyi neen boobu nag, bàyyi neen loolu léegi nag.
No. Honestly, they're still doing it. They said they're playing win against, so they cannot move the ball. They have to try, and somebody with some strength. When I was playing in the Gambia, the way it used to be still, and I was with 2 agents that I work with. I was with 2 of them. Okay, and we was watching there to scout players. And unfortunately, when we saw these things happening, and they're asking me, what is wrong with the goalkeeper? Is he injured? And I said, I don't know. I am as baffled as you guys. I don't know what happened. But this is still, I'm not saying all the clubs are doing it, but it's still happening in our top league. The final thing that I want to say is, why do they have to put the money as the #1 priority in the development of Gambian football? Why? Because for me, we did not invest half of or fraction of what Senegal is investing for us to have a right to be rushing into money, when we don't even have the quality. We got the quantity. The federation, a population of 2.4 million, Why do you need 16 teams in the first division? Why? If
Thank you.
Scotland is
Thank
having
you.
8
Thank
to
you.
9 million people, and they having only 12 teams, and they play 3 rounds, and top
Thank you.
level professional. Holland is having what? 11 to 18 million people, and they only have what? 16, 18 teams. But I find out from a federation elected member that they have money from FIFA based on the number of games played
Exactly.
in the national
Exactly.
league.
Exactly.
This is from an elected member, an executive member. One of the vice presidents told me this.
That's
and
true.
I said, then you people put this as priority on top of our development of football. This is why all the good players, the better players are all scattered all over the place. The competition is not as strong as it should be. And there should be a regulation, a minimum wage regulation for the first division if you want our better players to stay in the league. Because, I mean, it's not the best for these players to be moving to certain countries like Estonia. I've watched there, I've been there, and I see the way they accommodate them. But I don't blame them because the level of poverty is so high. They have to earn an income to feed their family, to prepare themselves for the future. I don't blame them. But on a footballing time, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because I've traveled all these leagues in Latvia, in Bulgaria. I've gone to these leagues. I've took players to these places. But I only take players who are already on the end, coming to the end of their careers. I don't take young players to these places. I tried taking young players to Scandinavia because I know that I can easily move them back in Germany. And I've did it many times. But to go to these countries with our players, putting them in shared accommodation, where you hardly can see any other color of your own, where you are advised certain areas, if you go there, you'll be racially abused. Where you play football, you still
Bulgaria. Huh?
It's just unbelievable. But there's so many things that is wrong with our football in the federation, and I think we could have another day.
It's the system.
Another program.
It's the system.
About
it's
it. It's very wrong.
Special program. No, it's a special programs. No, champ.
No, it's the system.
You should be part of it, Papa. Habibi, all of you guys, because you people, the thing is, you've been active with Gambian football now for a very, very long time, and you know a lot of insight and out that I personally I don't have a clue anymore, to be honest with you, because I just turned my back because I've tried my best.
Better for you, because if you know everything I know about our football, you will be emotionally drained.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I can tell. I'm
telling you. In fact, some of the things we knew, sometimes we just act a bit more responsible.
In fact, the national team, they don't have a boss. Boss or table, think about airport, Kesamba. Boss, he be a boss. I'm telling you, a boss picking the players from the airport. Gambia national team doesn't have it, to be honest.
Go. I travel with one of the bosses they bought. They just went there and bought 2 old bosses, repaint them, and get their kickbacks. So one day I was going to Jarasoma to watch Samga versus Jarawes. So I asked Nani that I want to go and cover that game. So we traveled with one of the bosses from GFF. Lord have mercy. Only God knows. Only God knows.
God help
the system is I am one of the guys. For me, for Gambia to move forward in football, we need a total overhaul. System change. System change. These people in football.
Even the security in GFF needs to be changed.
Those in football are not at the same level with people like Sidi Kinte, because at the time, those days, people were investing football from their own pocket. Now it's the opposite. Now FIFA is pouring money. Pupa, left, right, center. There's money for everything. And still, the Gambia is like we are in 1990, a country whereby there is no certified playing pitch in the whole country. That's the Gambia for you. A country whereby, we are talking about picking players from our league. How can you pick players from our league if last year we only played a League Cup, no FA Cup? despite all the hard preseason, there was only one trophy to be played in the Gambia, and that was the league. And in the second round of the league, it was a fitness tournament. Teams were playing on Saturdays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and on an artificial turf. They were all getting cramped and injured. So think about that. Think about that. Just think about that. And you tell me our football is the moment they're talking about Gambian football is moving, you have to ask this question. Locally or internationally? Because internationally, our football is up there. We have it more professional, and national team is doing great. But domestically, the league is as poor as you can't even imagine the level of. And guess what? There is so much corruption in our league. The last time we heard about a match fixing, and nobody is doing a dime about it. A referee was caught on record. He admitted that he received money and stuff. And still now, there is no investigation going on.
That's down to poverty, isn't it? When people are poor, they're capable of doing anything.
And guess what? The opposing team, they knew that something was happening. One of their officials called the referee and record him. He called him and said, and just play games with him. And the referee said, yes, no, they didn't give me anything yet. But you could see referees in those areas are receiving bribes. And guess what? We are talking about $1,000 here.
Habib, I can guarantee you that this what you are saying, this have been existing for a very, very, there was a time, you can look it up still now when you put my name. I know Daily Observer is not existing, but you can still see I was suspended for a whole year. For a whole year. Because of this kind of situation.
Yeah.
For a whole year. So
the system is bad.
This system is the same route that have been there since we was young, coming back all the way now. Is the same system they
have to change. And guess what? These guys are so greedy that the fact that this is Lamin Kababayo's final term in office, they are already trying to lock horns among each other because some guys already wanted to be here. So they want to do recycling. Maybe just Kaba will not be there, but the same people, they want to run our football for 50 years. These people, no, at a Wogla, even if we have to die, we die with them.
Yeah.
Atakela.
Baba wapi nyara de ba chami ba jela boy wato si dal de boy.
Yes.
I need to
find another day bo xamne da nga am pour organize this program pour about national league bi ak federation bi.
Wow.
Yes.
No, suma ko organize dama ubi rek man dem talk setan because yen mom suma indi suma topic ngeen dive at ma dugal ma fu nek. I understand. I was just watching. I just left you to it. Boy, it's interesting. It's lovely. I know people are liking it anyway. Yeah.
I think nga back home. Yi mu loko dumoy because dafa nop bo xamne. Te lu of ñay mu ne lu nop xey dafa xey. It stinks. Things are stinking.
Yeah.
And guess what? Ñu dem at the time bo xamne nga gis ministry bi ak GFF ñu ngi pangasante ñom ñaar. Ñu ngi pangasante. By the time they were giving this coach 5 years together, time bobu ñu ngi melni mburo sow mu ngi saf they went together. Yeah, they went together on a chartered flight and gave Tom 5-year contract on his birthday. The minister was there. They were all there. The whole entourage were there, and they couldn't tell the Gambian people where on earth Aliou Cissé, back-to-back World Cup, Afcon final, Afcon champion. They only give him 2-year extension. Please, Gambia is giving a coach 5 years extension without telling the people the clauses in the contract. We're still living in the dark. Did you see that? Did you see that
we will not allow anything of that nature to happen. Recycling, God forbid.
No, Atakela boy, no chance.
No, they are already talking about. Look, they are already talking about it.
Yes,
they use my boss. Willie. They were saying that they want. Hey, no, don't go there. Leave my boss alone. Leave my boss alone.
He's a good friend of mine. Please.
Leave my boss. My boss deful dara. ñoom ñoo ko use. Dañ ko dee use suñ ko soxlee suñ paree ñu dom ko. And that's exactly what they did. They were saying ne waaw su ko baa bàyyee Willie moo ñëw. So not long ago, Pasama told them, so now what next? Kaba has other plans already. So Jamfa bi Dorna. So meaning JFF in next year also, ñoy mbukante ay debal yu mbukante because Baba Jama koto bi dafa declare ne mo am na interest.
Kemo election misa.
In 26. Kemo want to be there. It's obvious. Bucks want to be there. Maybe if I want to be there. So in next year also, you start the bokante. GFF hard pack.
We need people like Coach EB to control our GFF. I'm not sure. EB
but EB could be a top technical director.
But EB, what do you have to say on
EB, don't shake your head. Number one, we have to amend the constitution of the GFF for stopping
very much. Yes,
for stopping Gambians in the diaspora to have a chance.
Yeah.
You know, most Gambians are saying that ex-players have to come. How? There is a law stopping them from even coming to contest.
They use the same law that is governing the political landscape of our country.
Yes.
Where if you want to be the president of the Republic of the Gambia, you have to be living in the Gambia for certain blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When we was there was a law in that constitution of the GFA at the time, not GFF, where it bars executive members from involving into other politics and stuff like that. But
not now.
Now they remove all those things because
now
King Coley was going mad about it because King Coley once spoke about it, which he was absolutely right about it. Because I don't understand how can you be an executive? Yes, you are not paid, but we all know when you are elected as an executive member, you go in turns on foreign trips, and through these foreign trips you make your money. We all know that. It's not a hidden thing. You know.
We know.
But they always try to convincing us that there is no money.
The system is
I'm gonna cut you there because it's nearly 2 hours 16 minutes. We've got next weekend to continue. We'll be going deep into the team selection next weekend. Obviously, hopefully we will have. Yeah, I'll let the Harbour to just. So I'll just give everyone 2 minutes to just round up whatever you want to say regarding the upcoming game.
For me, my biggest take is to make sure we have EB here because he knows a lot. He was in the system, and he can compare then and now. So it's very important to have him in this platform.
EB is actually a co-founder and he's also a president of this group. So we don't. He's always going to be.
With him around, a lot of people will learn and compare how our football was run before, and he was in the system. He understands every detail. So having him around, I think, is a plus. And you know, I like people who speak the facts, regardless of who is listening. And these are the things that we are lacking in our country. They have sacrificed our journalists. They are all muted. Only one or two will talk. The rest are all Fabrizio Romano. Now here we go, copy and paste. It's very sad. So instead of talking about issues that is affecting our football, they are all focusing on transfers, which is BS. They are all scared. Some of them were taken to. They were funded by GFF to travel, and now
that's poverty for you.
No, I don't think it's poverty. You don't sell your soul.
Yeah, but people think differently. That's the thing.
But how much? No, but listen. How much money are we talking? Look, giving me. Sometimes
it's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying is people.
No, my argument is, if you have to bribe me, it have to worth it. But taking me on a trip to White on a 20 on a 17, or giving me a credit $500 for me to sell my soul. For me, I think my biggest I own myself. My mouth is my biggest, is
Weapon.
something that I cannot, how can I allow people to buy me? Hell no. I want to be independent. I want to talk on national issues. I want to be free. I want to be independent, But it's very sad that there was no FA Cup. The journalists were quiet. The pitches are bad. They are quiet. Kabab made some promises during the campaign. He's not doing none of that. The journalists are quiet. There was one girl who went to have his masters. The GFF wrote an article saying that they are paying all her expenses. That was a lie. The girl was on my camera show today.
Okay.
So all what they said about her was what they were lying. And now they are angry with her because she went on an interview. Because she was struggling in UK. She said it. Life was difficult. They didn't help her. Now she achieved her dreams. Now they're angry with her. And they went and make a huge post that they are behind everything. Well, it was all lies. So, look, the system. We need a facelift and not these faces I'm seeing. It's as simple as that. If you want to progress, we need a total overhaul. Definitely.
Dahaba, final words. I know you've been quiet for some time, feeling that, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
Go on,
no,
then.
I've been listening. It's very, very interesting program, very educative, for people that's been there, for years, and people like EB and Fall himself. They have more knowledge about our football than us. So, and I'm sure the listeners as well and the viewers are taking note as well. For me, like this is something. Is a very important program for everyone, and I think that we bring in a lot in terms of football, the knowledge of football to the Gambian people, and I'm talking about the coaching, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that in the future programs and that. I mean, it's been an interesting part as well because that's something like I realize like most people don't really, I mean, really talk about Gambian football coaching, and I think this is the most important. This is where football starts. It starts from coaching, and you're looking at the Gambian coach compared to other countries. You can see the differences in terms of the quality of football, the confidence from the players, and everything. It's all down to the coaching. I mean, the coaching system. Like the Gambian coach they only start coaching from our narrators or maybe like from from I would say from the narrator they start from the narrator and then go to like divisional football. No one really get any knowledge of coaching from abroad or from any other places, and I hardly see any players coming from abroad, other countries to come and play in the Gambian league. And I think that's because of bad bad coaching. That's why we don't really have foreign players in our league compared to other countries. You have Senegal. You got players from. If you go, I do follow a lot of Gambian football and a lot of African football. Some African leagues, you get players from South America coming there playing in their league, you know, and they are professionals, They come from their country and come there. For countries like South Africa, South Africa is well developed. They have players from even from Europe here, and then they got players from South America. Is many places.
Yeah.
Coaching is very important. That is, for me is number one. It's number one thing. Like number one thing, even the federation should really, really work on it more than going abroad spending money on the foreign managers to come to the country. I'm sure we have a lot of talent back home.
Yeah.
From every department. In
But
terms of coaching.
yeah, okay. Ibi, just a quick one as well, and then wrap up.
No,
We
no,
can
no,
just
no. I've already done my final
you're
round.
wrapping up.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, okay.
I leave you and Baba. Mhm.
Yeah, Baba. I
If
think
he's
he's
not
gone.
sleeping.
Baba is gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gone now.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been an interesting watch for the
Yeah,
viewers.
but
I think.
the last word was Bafla Bego and Nimbara, the listeners and the viewers, and yeah, because if I have to go on again, Dolbaloka candidate, but it was nice and it was good to be back on the platform again, talking about Gambian football, and all the time, like I said, we know, Gal Bafalanya Mantra Nyo Bindola, we're not here to, hate anyone. We're not here to, take anybody out from your position in the national team or anything. We're just talking about Gambian football way forward. That's all. Way forward. That's all. It doesn't matter who is there. If you do the right thing, we will say you're doing the right thing. If it is wrong, Fanam Bafala is wrong. Ha, KK na kwete kafala kwetale boy. KK ta fala kwa fintale. Na kweta na fintale boy. It's simple as that. But it doesn't mean we hate people or we fighting people. Kira for jealous, kira for inyan, kira for ni. If anybody's saying that, just listen to us. Listen to what we are talking. Listen to, what we are discussing. If you understand, we not right. Come out, say no, ni okay. Young and sang the farm a license while you are wrong. Legi sang topotona license. I mean, definitely, it's fine. But tell me long about sang got a license since 1966. Belegi, when a license,
Time over na
representing.
kido goodbye. Bully the 1966.
But anyway, yeah, Baraka boy, it was good to have you back. Oh, everybody, it was good to be back anyway. So, Allah Baraka back, boy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure as usual. And for the viewers, thank you for keeping us company as well. We also urging everyone to subscribe onto our new channel. We've got a lot of stuff lined up.
Subscribe, guys. Subscribe.
More. We've got a lot more on both the Facebook and this thing. Baba has something also. He's gonna be having a lot of interviews with the players, current players, past players, and it'd be
Coaches,
interesting. So
everyone.
yeah, coaches and then yeah. So thank you very much, guys. It's been a